Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So, I am Minal Shah and the Chief Dietitian at Fortis Mulund. I have been associated with Fortis Mulund for the last 12 years. So, let's get on with the topic for the day is why should we avoid junk food? Now, let's understand what is junk food. Now, we called it junk for the reason is these food items are lacking nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals that we're supposed to have as a part of a good nutrition that the body needs. So, junk food essentially is food items which are calorie dense. They are generally dense in sugar or fat, and these are the items which really do not give us any good nutrition that helps our body become stronger or for our routine activities. So, what qualifies as a junk food is something like breads and biscuits, bakery products made out of maida. Okay, the chips that we have, the aerated beverages, colas, cold drinks, alcoholic beverages, red meat, processed meat like sausages or bacon. All of these things qualify as junk food. So, why should we be avoiding them? So, if you look at this, junk food works like a drug for us. So, junk food gives us that pleasure on eating. So, that kind of activates your brain and you kind of crave for more. And, like for a person with alcohol or drug history, when they eat or drink such things, they get a high post eating these things. And there would be a time after which you would want to have more to get the similar amount of high. Same thing happens to a junk food. When we have junk food, it gives us a feel good pleasure. We feel pleasure out of it. So our brain really, likes that feeling. And eventually that leads to an increase in this dopamine receptors. So the next time you would eat more of junk food. So the small quantity of junk food gets converted to good amount through the, even eventually in a lifetime, and we'll end up eating bulk amount of these junk food. So, what went wrong with the junk food? Why does it cause a problem? So, like I said, these foods qualify as things which have high amount of fats and unhealthy fats, more or less saturated or trans fats, high amount of sugar, and they are calorie dense. So, the first thing that you would want to look at is a very small quantity of that junk food gives me very good amount of calories. So, my body might not need that much of calories. We need a calculate amount of energy and protein through the day. So when we eat more than required, we'll end up getting it stored in the body in the form of fats because that's the only form of storage in the body, and we'll end up getting weight gain. So one is it causes weight gain, which causes increase in the obesity. So the number of people having more of weight increases. Secondly, it also leads to cardiovascular diseases. So what happens is we are not having the right kind of food. We are having something which is bad for us. That leads to a lot of disorders like cholesterol issues. It can lead to cholesterol in the form of blockages. So that leads to cardiovascular diseases or could lead to derangement of your blood serum levels of cholesterol. Then it can also lead to things like cancer, which is also one of the side effects of junk food when you have in good amounts. And there could be multiple other diseases that it causes. Like it definitely lead to something like depression also. So sleep disorders, it actually causes induced more of stress. And this kind of works as a cycle. If you're more stressed out, we eat more junk food. Feel good factor, we'll end up getting more weight gain, and then we come back to the feeling where we are stressed because we are probably not fit, unable to be productive as much as we would want to be. So everything takes a toll in life. So we look at junk food as a part of a vicious cycle. The smaller quantities gradually increases to a huge quantity, and that kind of leads to a problem. How do we deal with it? So there could be two or three maneuvers for this. One is where we control the amount of junk food that we eat. So for that, we'll have to plan our meals accordingly. It can't be something we have out of the rack. Or if you have stored your homes or your office places with junk food, that obviously becomes your easy to go option. So you'd pick up one of these items if that's what's available. And when we feel hungry, we kind of pick up whatever is available. So what we would want to do is plan ahead. Make sure you know that there's going to be a break in between. You're going to feel hungry, and you plan for good things that can replace these junk foods. So planning ahead is going to be very, very important. Next is understanding what is junk food. We sometimes feel that this is not junk food. So for that, you need to start reading labels. Read the nutritional labels because that gives you a very fair idea of what is the content of that food item. So they may claim products that claim as fat free or free of cholesterol or no sugar, okay, or whole wheat. not containing maida, but read the print, understand the nutritional label. There may be a lot of marketing gimmicks that goes, and that kind of portrays the picture as a very healthy food item, but it may not be the case. So let's start being smart. Let's understand what is actual content, and then we can realize that what is to be included and what is to be excluded. So first, identifying the junk food is going to be very, very important. The third most important thing that we need to be careful about is, one is the portion size. So we keep small quantities of junk food as as a feel good factor, as a reward to us for working out, or probably being very obedient and very compliant with the healthy diet through the week or through the month. Make sure the quantity doesn't go out of hand. Like I explained earlier, it's like a response, it's like a high for the body. So those small quantities might eventually get converted to very huge quantities, and that is where we need to draw a line. So make sure that you're being very careful about the portion size, make sure you're planning ahead, and make sure that you identify these junk foods very correctly. Now, what are the options that can be a part of your junk food? Is, let's look at the options. So if I have a evening snack, I can very well replace the junk foods with some healthy nuts, right? So nuts are real good snacks, but ensure that you are not overdoing anything. See, the ground rule that we have is, ensure that you don't overdo any of the good or the bad items. Even if you have the right things in excess of quantities, that would lead to harm. So make sure the portion sizes are right. And yes, nuts are a very, very healthy evening snack to have. So you can definitely opt for nuts. I would want to recommend that we would want to keep it as either roasted nuts or just raw nuts. Try and avoid the salted ones, because that's the second drawback of junk food. They are really high in the sodium content. As high as we would actually fail to realize that it really is 3 times of what we should be eating. So let's not have the same mistake being repeated with the healthy food options that we are making. Check for salt contents. So if you're having nuts, let's avoid the salted nuts. Let's opt for something like roasted or normal nuts that we have. Okay. Another healthy thing that we can have in the evening are vegetable chips. So that's the current trend that we have. Vegetable chips are a healthier option. It can actually be made at home with minimal amount of oil and salt. And if it's made at home, I would be really confident in eating them. If it's a packaged product, I would again want to read the labels to understand what is the sodium content and what is the fat percentage that was put in. So even if it's like we have beetroot chips, we have pumpkin chips, potato chips, and tomato chips. So here potato becomes a starchy item. So we can offer the other options available and see if that works for you. So that's again a good option for somebody who is a vegan. So for a plant-based diet, that's again a good thing to have. Another thing that we can have is something very simple like hummus. Hummus is actually a very good protein snack also. Again, can be very easily made at home, or it can be available from market. Ready to eat is a good option. Read labels. Ensure that a simple hummus isn't modified to an extent that it causes a problem. So read the sodium content again. Ideally, you would get good options in hummus if you're looking at the right place. So hummus again without the chips, you can have it along with the vegetables. So vegetables would be a better option to accompany the hummus rather than the pita bread, because I would want to keep the pita bread out. You can have fruits. Fresh fruits are very, very good option and very easily available. And it doesn't have to be an expensive affair either. You can choose any locally available fruits at the season available. You don't have to go out of out of the stretch and buy something which is exotic. A very simple guava and orange can become a very good evening snack again. And if you're too bored to have a healthy fruit, you can always have something like a smoothie or a milkshake. So that again becomes a little more attractive option, and you can kind of have some flavor enhancers along with that. So you don't have to have something which is very boring actually. It can be made very tasty if it's made right. And more importantly, like I said, if it's planned ahead. So you know what ingredients are required and you can have those things available at home. So fruits are a good option. Even soups can be a very good option. For somebody who likes vegetables, vegetable soups are a very healthy evening option. The only catch with it is we'll have to have it fresh. So you can't have the ready to make or ready to drink soup sets available because they really have a very high sodium content again. So make something at home, make it fresh, but that can be a part of your routine. It's worth the effort. The vegetables are really something that helps us with the fiber. It also helps us with a good amount of vitamins and minerals, and it helps with a good amount of potassium, which kind of helps control our blood pressure. So they have very, very good benefits, and the effort, like I said, is worth it. If we look at the grains, if I'm skipping the breads and biscuits out, we can have some healthy grains instead. So there are puff cereals available in the market. So jowar puff or bajra puffs, which could be a good alternative as an evening snack. You can have, fresh the greens also, the fresh cereals. So fresh cereals can also be a part of your evening snack. You can just boil it and have it like a snack. So yes, these are the options that we can opt for. In terms of beverages, we have healthier beverages also. So if we look at what we would want to avoid as a part of junk food, I would want to keep the sports drinks or the energy drinks at bay, the aerated beverages and the sugar beverages, the sherbets and the sugary drinks that we get in the market. They all qualify as junk food because of the high sugar content. Again, so what can I choose over it? Like I said, a smoothie would be a good choice. A milkshake would be a good choice because you would also include some bit of protein along with that. So curd, buttermilk, they are good options. Even lassi is a fair score. It can be a salted lassi, it can be a sweet lassi, but then the protein content is great. So lassi is not bad of an option. Flavored yogurts can be consumed, but again, if we look at the packaged one, read the labels. We do not want to have unnecessarily high amount of sodium or sugar in the processed food that we eat. They would have some bit of preservatives in it. So what we would normally recommend is having flavored yogurts which are freshly made at home. So we can very easily blend in a banana along with yogurt or an apple along with yogurt or strawberries or berries along with yogurt and have it as your own flavored yogurt and your own flavors and fresh fruits and fresh option. So that's again something you can include. Apart from all of this, you can have some simple nimbu pani that we have. So that is again a good score to have. Lemonade, which is easy to make and very easily available. Fruit juices aren't very bad if I would look at it. If you have something like a fresh fruit juice, that's a good thing to include. Only thing is we would normally opt for a fruit over a fruit juice because of the fiber content. There are multiple health benefits of having fiber every day, and we would normally recommend having at least 1 or 2 fruits through the day to ensure that this amount of fiber is included in the diet. So yes, fruit juices can be an option, but yes, we would want to recommend something like a whole fruit over a fruit juice on any given day. Even from the point of hygiene, a fresh fruit is something that you can peel and cut and have it immediately, so no risk of infection. Fruit juices are a little bit of a risky affair when you're having it from an unreliable source. So yes, you can make the right choices provided you have the options available. So anybody who is vegan, most of these options are vegan. We have a lot of variations and we can definitely opt for it. Now, if you want to make it a little more tastier, what can be done is you can combine the junk foods with your healthy foods. So if you look at nuts, you can have the nuts coated with a little bit of a chocolate to give it that chocolatey flavor, but you still have the nuts and you control the amount of chocolate that you're eating. That's your feel good factor. So you have very small portions of these foods. You still have the taste that you like without compromising on the health. So that is how we keep a balance amongst all of these things. So read nutrition labels, explore more options, and try new things out. So like if the vegetable chips are something not everybody would find it appealing. But give it a try. It's worth a shot. If you like it, well and good. If you do not like it, you'll opt for the next thing that we have. Even paneer or cottage cheese becomes a very good evening snack option. And that's something you can modify as per your understanding or your taste and your preference. It can be made into something which is very sweet, or you can make it into something which is salty. Taste is something that you can really control. And if you're out, you would want to have a packaged product, then yes, there are biscuits and there are breads available which do claim to be healthy. Just ensure that you're reading it right so that you're not fooled by gimmicks where they may claim it to be a whole wheat bread or they may claim it to be a whole grain bread, but only a percentage of it is maida. So what we normally see is it may have 10 or 15 or 20% of whole grain and the rest of it would be maida. And the catch with these bakery products is even if it is made from whole wheat, it does need a lot of salt and fat to make. So baking itself requires that high amount of sodium and fats. So on any given day, we would really qualify as a healthy option, which still goes as junk. You can offer something like a pasta instead, or you can make something like a healthy pizza. If you are in for making that pizza bread at home, or if you can explore the market and look for whole grain pastas, which are available in the market. So let's read and let's understand what is good, let's understand what is unhealthy and make the right choices. So I had a question earlier regarding the options of vegan diet for replacement of junk food for vegan or pure veg for weight loss. Yes, so all of the options that I've actually given is all your vegan options. So the hummus and vegetables are your vegan option and your pure veg option also. The paneer was a good option item. Your fruits, yogurts, smoothies, milkshakes, um, puff cereals, nuts, they're all your vegan options and vegetarian as well. So most of the options are vegetarian and vegan. In fact, non-veg would be something difficult to procure out from outside. If you're buying it from outside, then getting a healthy option there could be a little difficult because you wouldn't have it in packaged form. And if you're buying it from outside, then yes, the fat content and the sodium content is pretty high unless you're opting for eggs. So non-veg is something you can actually offer as chicken soup. Otherwise, most of our evening snack options are. So let's understand what is junk food. I'll run through it again. Anything which is processed, very high in sugar, fat, or salt content, which does not have vitamins and minerals that we would need for our daily processes, qualifies as junk food. We have to offer something which is going to give me some vitamins and minerals. And we would want to normally look at something which is fresh. You would want to try and avoid out of the box things. Ready to eat things are generally high in sodium and potassium. Still, read through. Let's not take a generalized call. Let's not be generic in these things. A lot of variable options are available in the market. The only thing is we need to pick the right things up and include that in your diet. Plan your meals ahead. It may seem as a task, but it really, really helps. Plan your meals ahead. Ensure that you have whatever is available, whatever is required through the week, so that you may not fall short of ingredients and land up making a call to Zomato or any food delivery app and call for food because you did not have the right ingredients at home. So make sure you have planned your meals ahead, make sure the ingredients are stocked up, and finally, look at the portion that we eat. So, yes, we are allowed to have pizzas and burgers, but the portion is very important. And second, the frequency. Make sure they happen very rarely and very occasionally, just for the feel good factor, and we don't do overboard of these things that we are having. So, a lot of good foods are available, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, a lot of fresh drinks that are available. All of these things can be a part of a routine without much of an hassle. And like I said, it doesn't have to be an expensive affair. It's something which can be managed at everyone. So if you are looking at the cost, nuts can be replaced by peanuts or even chanas. So there are a lot of options, especially in India and anywhere. We always have options. All we have to do is use our resources well and make sure that you're making the right choices. Let's see if we have any more questions. So, reading labels is something very easy. You can always start with the basic things that you're buying. Even if it's as simple as the masalas, start reading the labels. You'll have a fair idea of what is a part of your masalas, what is a part of your so-called healthy food, and if it's actually an healthy option, why not? We can go ahead with it. But read the nutrition labels. And you guys are also aware that currently the FSSAI has brought in guidelines where anything which is sold out, the food items that is, they have to have the calorie count of that food item so that people make the well-informed choices. So at least they'll have to have things on display of what is the calorie content of the food item and if it's containing any allergens or anything like that. So that really helps the being an informed making an informed decision that takes us a long way. Also, are you guys aware that eating healthy isn't very difficult? So what I would want you to do, make a list of things that you like, and then make a list of things that you are supposed to eat, and then make a bargain amongst the two of what is gonna be more frequent. And at the end of it, if I look at it, we should be eating all the right things for the reason being we really don't want to land up getting health ailments, which is very frequent these days at a very young age. And the occurrence of various diseases like high blood pressure, strokes, cardiovascular diseases, obesity, and many more ailments have kind of shot up with the isolation period that we had 2 years, with the 2 years during COVID. And this is the time that we make the correct choices and make sure that we are not landing up having any more issues. So Yes, let's avoid the junk food and let's make the informed choices and let's make the right decisions so that we remain healthy with the family and friends and we can enjoy the rest of our life.